How's you going, boys? Mike here. Welcome back to Grampie's Workshop. Well, I love being in the shop. Come out to the shop as often as I can, work on little projects, putter away here and there and everywhere. But in the wintertime it gets pretty chilly out here. And I had a wood stove for a heat source, but that was causing me grief with the smoke every time I run my dust collector. Wow, yeah, it wasn't good. So I'm trying to come up with a way to heat my shop. So I saw where Princess Auto had diesel-fueled space heaters on special. So I bought myself a diesel-fueled space heater, and I'm going to try and use that to heat my shop. Now I've seen this done on Steve Robb Reviews on his channel. Great channel, by the way. Steve's a great fellow, good friend of mine. He uses a diesel-fueled space heater to heat his shop up to a good operating temperature. Then he shuts it off, and then he just uses electric heaters here and there, right? So I'm going to try that just to see how it works out. But what we're up to today is I'm going to unbox the space heater, and we're going to try and flash it up, even though it's not cold here today, but that's what we're up to. So what I got was a Mr. Heater from Princess Auto. So let's just take some of the paper off of this and see what we can get into. It heats up to 1,200 square feet, operates up to 11 hours on a full 4-gallon tank, and it's an advanced cold weather start. So here's the instructions. And I oftentimes just take these and toss them, but since this could maybe burn down my shop, I think I'll read them a little bit. Do not store or use gasoline or other flammable vapors or liquids in the vicinity of da-da-da-da-da. This is a kerosene direct-fired forced air heater. Its intended use is primarily temporary heating of buildings under construction, alteration, or repair. Nice manual. It's all entrenched. Well, I thought it said it somewhere. It said it could use diesel fuel. Direct-fired means that all the combustion products enter the heated space. Even though this heater operates at very close to 100% combustion efficiency, it still produces small amounts of carbon dioxide. Carbon dioxide, called CO, is toxic. CO can build up in the heated space. Failure to provide adequate ventilation could result in death. Fuse that has been modified does not function. Diagnostic safety. Symptom troubleshooting. Kerosene forced air normal. Okay. So I'm reading through this and I don't see where it says I can use diesel fuel. So I'm going to stop right now and I'm going to go online and search about the Mr. Heater model that I have here. Okay, so I was online checking about this heater because it says that it's a forced air kerosene heater. And it's not that I don't want to use kerosene, because I do have access to that, but I have much more readily accessible diesel fuel. So when I go online and look about this, a couple of things I found out. The model of this one is a PA50DKR. PA50DKR. When I go on the Mr. Heater site, it doesn't recognize that number as PA50DKR. It recognizes MH50DKR. But not PA. So right away I'm thinking, what exactly is this machine? The manufacturer doesn't even recognize it. But as I read through the manual, and then when I read through what I found out for the MH50, I see right here under specifications in the manual, at the top here it says, caution, CSA certified for use with only number 1 K kerosene fuel. Factory tested kerosene, diesel number 1 and number 2 fuel oil, and number 1 and number 2 JP8 jet fuel. So it does talk about using diesel fuel, so I think I can use diesel fuel because diesel and kerosene is pretty close. But anyways, like right off the bat I'm thinking, they don't even recognize the part number, the model number. It says Mr. Heater written all over it, like it's, I don't know. We're going to have to go a little bit further in this and see what we find out. Anyway, I'm going to take it out of the box. There's a handle. There's a cord. And here's the heater. One thing about the heater, when I was reading about it, it says the only assembly you have to do is put the handle on it, and you should be good to go. Put the handle on it and some fuel, and you're away to the races. Pretty. Oh, there's an extension. There's the cable right there. So what the heck? Oh, okay. I thought this was a cable, but it's actually a handle. Factory tested for multiple fuels. Oh look, this is important. This is kind of what I'm looking for. This little tag was on the fuel tank, and it says factory tested for multiple fuels: kerosene, jet fuel, number 1, number 2 diesel, and number 1 and number 2 fuel oil. So I'm going to install this handle on here. Well, isn't that fancy? And it was very clear in the instructions not to use this as a handle. But it's right there to grab, eh? Like you know that you're going to use it as a handle. That ought to be enough to start it up anyways, eh? Okay, when you're reading about this, how to start it, it just says you plug it into 110, and I've done that, and then it says you just turn it on, and it should self-ignite. Are you ready? So the heater's running in the background. I have the doors closed on the shop while the man door's open. It's been running now for just, I don't know, maybe 2 minutes. I can smell a bit of what I would call, well, not real diesel fuel, but I can smell something in the air. So there's something in the air. So I wouldn't suggest that this be used, certainly not in an enclosed area. I wouldn't put it in a house to heat a house. But out here in the shop, where I get lots of airflow, it should be good. And it should work well just to warm up the building quickly. So I have the heat gun here, and I'm just going to check. You can see that. It says 22 over there on the wall. So I'm just going to let that run for a little bit, and we'll check it again. So I'm sitting here in front of the heater, and I got to tell you, there's a lot of heat coming off it. I just want to show you the front of it now that it's been running for about 5 minutes, how the red glow is on it. Like it's not a cold day today, don't get me wrong, but it is pounding out the heat, I must say. All right. It's a little bit warm at the end. That still feels cool right there. It shows 42 degrees out here and about 27 there, so pretty cool. Pretty hot there. Air. Too hot to handle. So, I'm going to say the noise level is pretty good. I mean, it's noisy, there's no two ways about it, but it's not, you don't need to wear hearing protection, I wouldn't think. There's a bit of an odor on it, like I say. It's been running now for about 5 to 10 minutes. Bit of an odor on it. So I'm thinking that, you know, there's sort of carbon dioxide in the air more maybe than normal. But in the shop here where there's lots of airflow, I don't see that as going to be a problem, as long as we don't let it run for hour and an hour. We just let, and my plan is just to run it for a half hour, 45 minutes to warm up the shop and shut it off. I have to say also though that if you stand too close to the front of it, it is very hot, so that's a concern. I'm going to have to find a spot where there's a good open area so I can direct it away from anything that's combustible. So just before I shut it down here, it was running about 12 minutes. The temp says 28. So, well, it did, trust me. So it is warming up here. I'm amazed at how cool this barrel is on here. Nice. Hot. Cool. So I think this is going to work good. So now what it says to shut it off is you just turn the power off. And that's just like that. She's snapping and cracking, but I think that's just from cooling down, right? Still pretty hot in the front though. And it says don't restart it until it cools down. Now I don't know how cool down is, but... So what do you think? Mr. Heater, 50,000 BTU space heater. I think it's going to be nice. Makes a lot of heat. I'm amazed how much heat it makes. And I'm also amazed how quiet it is, because I've had salamander heaters like that before that were just like, drive you nuts with the noise. Anyway, this one sounds good. I think it's going to work good in the shop here. There's nothing nicer than coming out and working in the shop, especially in the winter, puttering away, doing this, that, and the other thing. But when you're out here blowing on your hands and afraid to pick up a tool because it's so cold, well, that's no fun. So hopefully this will make it a lot better. In the meantime, I hope you enjoyed my video. I hope you like this little heater. I hope it gives you some ideas of how maybe you can heat your shop. Because I got this idea from Steve Robb, from Steve Robb Reviews, a great channel. I suggest you check him out. In the meantime, folks, take care, be safe. Don't forget, COVID-19 is out there and it's looking for you. So pay attention, and if you have to, wear a face mask. We'll talk to you.